We were hostile in our thinking. We were evil in our deeds. And that's when Christ said, I will give my all for the ungodly. I will die so that they can live. And so if Christ died for us at our lowest point, we have nothing that we can offer. There is nothing we can contribute to this great salvation. We can only receive the grace of God that has been purchased for us by the shed blood of Christ on the cross. And so if Christ has died for the ungodly, this is this salvation. And as I was thinking further about how perhaps there's a lot of people who are waiting for a proof of God's love in their life, that perhaps they're thinking that if God would, something good would happen to them, that God would somehow prove His love. Or maybe you've been told that God doesn't love you, or if God did love you, that these things, you wouldn't have experienced the things you have. But I want you to know that you do not have to wait for a good circumstance. You don't have to wait for something good to happen for God to prove His love. But the Scripture declares God has already demonstrated His love. He did it 2,000 years ago when He became a man. He demonstrated in the ultimate act of love that He would take your place on a cross. You've got to understand that as ungodly sinners, we are guilty of sin. We deserve the penalty of that sin, and that was eternal damnation. But Christ so loved the world, God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, that whoever would believe in Him would not perish, but they would have everlasting life. This is how God has demonstrated His love. If you're looking for something good to happen to you, for God to prove His love, I want you to know that act has already taken place, and Christ has already demonstrated His love for you. And so if God has already taken the first step, if God has already initiated salvation, for Jesus said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me, referring to the cross. If that has already taken place, then your role, your responsibility, if you're hearing my voice tonight, is to receive this great salvation by faith. Romans chapter 10, verse 9 and 10. Tell us very clearly. You see, the way of salvation is not hidden. It's not hidden in secret knowledge. It's not hidden in enlightenment. It's not hidden in some sort of secret religion or ritual. But Christ has made salvation very clear. He says that if you will confess with your mouth Jesus as Lord and believe in your heart that He was risen from the grave, you shall be saved.
Hallelujah.
And it goes on in verse 13. He says that all that call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. I want you to know under the sound of my voice tonight that the gospel is available. Salvation is free and purchased by the blood of Christ. And if you will confess Jesus as Lord and believe in your heart that Christ has been risen from the dead, salvation is yours.
Hallelujah.
In the name of Jesus.